Hi, welcome back to Marshashana Yoga. I have a very special guest this morning, and I want to introduce you to her. She is a teacher of Zentangle. What's that? Well, I think you could describe it as meditative art. But I'm going to let Jackie Rose explain it all to you. Good morning, Jackie.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming to the show.
You're welcome.
So tell us what it's about.
Okay, well, Zentangle, just like you said, it's a meditative art, and it's mindful drawing of structured patterns that create beautiful images. It's not about the outcome, it's about being in the moment. Where in some art classes, well, most or all art classes, you're focusing on the outcome. You might be drawing a model or a scenery or a fruit cup or a fruit bowl. But here in Zentangle, we don't focus on any outcome. We don't draw anything that's supposed to look like anything. And it's just really cool patterns. As you can see here, we've got some examples of some of the Zentangle pieces that I've done here. There's an album here. I don't know if...
So it looks like you're merging some of these patterns together. That's what's happening? You're using more than one pattern and putting them together somehow.
Exactly. And the whole thing is, it looks complicated, but it's very, very easy because it's one stroke at a time. As it says here, anything is possible, one stroke at a time. And we are not, again, focusing on the outcome. We're focusing on just being in the moment with our pen and drawing that line. So I teach you step by step what to do. So the whole idea is not, you don't have to think about anything except being in the moment and having fun.
That's so important too. In yoga, we know that being present in the moment is really what it's about because it's the only place life exists. We go over the past, we go into the future, but anything that keeps us meditative in this moment, that's what makes this such a cool piece to the yoga thing.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, in the Zentangle world, this is called yoga for the brain.
Love that. Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Why don't we have a class?
All right.
All right.
So the first thing I'm going to ask all of you to do is we're going to close our eyes for a moment, just for a moment, and when we do that, I want you to let go of anything that might be on your mind that might be bothering you. Just let go of anything and everything and just breathe in peace. Okay, you can open your eyes. And I'd like a volunteer to read what's on the card in front of you.
Relax, slow down, breathe, let go, be present, have faith, focus, have fun.
Thank you. And that is what we are focusing on while we do Zentangle. We're letting go of anything that might be bothering us, anything that we need to do, anything that might even be joyful. We're letting that go. We're just going, we're going to slow down, we're going to breathe, and we're going to just focus and have fun. So the one thing I want you to keep in mind before we start is there's no right or wrong in Zentangle. Anything goes. So I'm going to instruct you, but if your intuition says, oh, I feel like doing it this way, then go for it, because this brings out your own creativity, your own individuality. And when we're all done, we're going to put all our tiles together. These are called tiles. And we're going to see how different each one came out, but how beautiful they are. So the first thing I want you to do is just hold your tile. And this is 100% acid-free die-cut, lovely, lovely paper, created, actually it's from, I think it's called Fabricano paper, something like that, imported from Italy. And it's lovely, lovely paper. The pens are Micron 01 Sakura. You can get these at AC Moore or Michael's or art stores or Zentangle.com. In a moment I'm going to tell you about the founders, but they went to great lengths in putting together, finding the right materials that are very nice, high quality, but affordable, and that where your tile and your pens will last a long time. So why don't we start? The first thing we're going to do is I want you to pick up your pencil, and on the Zentangle side, You write your name, today's date, which is the 9th, and where you are, Milford TV, Marshashana's show. And if this is your first time ever tangling, which I think you all told me this is your first time, I want you to write your first tile ever. Anywhere on that tile, just write first tile ever. And we do this because if you start to tangle more often, or even if you put this away and you take it out someday, you're going to say, where did I do this? And now you won't even have to think about it. It's there. I do this on every tile. I now use a sketchbook, actually, because I tangle so much, and I always date and put where I am when I do it so I don't forget when I look back. All right, so now what I want you to do is turn over your tile to the blank side. And with your pencil, you're going to put a dot very lightly in each 4 corners of your tile, very lightly. Anything we do in pencil in this part usually is going to disappear anyways. So now what we're going to do is we're going to connect those dots to create a border. And the border, we don't want to spend a lot of time on it. It doesn't have to be straight lines. It can be curvy, it can be wavy, it can curve in, curve out. Doesn't matter. It was going to disappear anyway, so just make a border very quickly, but not very, very quickly because we want to slow down, but you want to breathe when you do it. Breathe in, breathe out. Good. And now what we're going to do is we're going to create a tile, a string. And a string is when we divide the border into sections. So that now we know where we're going to tangle, so we don't have to worry about how far do we have to do this pattern for. So we're going to create sections. So we're going to do 3 sections. So what I'd like you to do is take your pencil from the left border and bring it all the way up to the right corner border. And it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't even have to land there, but something like that, right? From the right. And now what I'd like you to do is from the bottom right corner, make a curvy line and touch somewhere on that line that you just drew. And now we have 3 sections, and all of our board strings look very different, and that's the way it's supposed to be. There's no right or wrong. So we can put down our pencils, and we're going to pick up our pens. And for you, for anybody watching, I encourage you to take out a piece of paper and a pen and follow along with us. You don't have to have these materials to tangle and relax. So the first pattern we're going to do, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate, you can do the pattern with me, and then we're going to fill up that section with that pattern, and at that time I'm going to talk more about Zentangle, and if Marcia has any questions for me, we can go there. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is I'm going to just draw, let me see which section. I think I'll pick this section. We're going to draw little spirals. So pick one section that you want. I'm picking the top left section. So if you want to do that with me, you can do that with me. And I'm going to start with a little dot and around, then I'm going to start drawing a line around that dot. And I'm going to go around that line and then around again. And I'm going to stop when I feel like it.
I can do that.
Yes. Anyone can do Zentangle.
I like that.
And then you're going to do another one. And what you want to do is touch, be able to do it close enough where they're going to touch. Now, I want you to remember, these pens do not need a lot of pressure. So, Marcia, you can lighten up a little bit. Don't press down, because what's going to happen is you might break the tip.
Okay, thank you, Jackie.
And you're also going to tense up. We're here to relax, let go. There's no right or wrong. You perfectionists out there, maybe there are some here today, you've got to turn that over, let it go. There's no perfection here. So we're going to do another dot. And doesn't matter how many rings in these little spirals. You can do big ones, little ones, combination. Whatever you feel like doing. Very light touch. Remember to breathe and relax your shoulders. So now I want to tell you how Zentangle got started.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. The founders is Maria Thomas and Rick Roberts. Rick, they're married, second marriage for both of them. Rick was a monk for 19 years, and Maria an artist. So, of course, they put the two together because what happened was Rick comes home one day and Maria was designing a manuscript for a client, and she was just doing the same stroke over and over, and she was in a zone. And Rick could barely get her attention. She didn't even hear him come in the door and say, "What's for dinner?" So he said, "Wow, this is what monks are trying to accomplish for many years. We've got something here." So they hopped in the car and they went to the Berkshires and rented a room at a B&B, and they brainstormed all the way up there, all the whole time there and all the way back, and they felt like it was all divine coming through. So now fast forward 11 years later, actually 10 years later, about a year and a half ago, I discovered Zentangle. I took a class. Within the first 5 minutes of taking the class, I knew I wanted to be certified. So I go home and I go on the website of Zentangle.com, and I said, and all of their certification classes were filled for the rest of the year, and there was no wait list. So I called them up and I said, "Come on, really? No wait list? Your wait list is full too? I have to wait 6 months before I can even know if there's another seminar?" I said, when we want something, we want it now,
Yes,
right?
we
Just
do.
like you said, your son cut his own hair because he couldn't wait for you to get back from Nova
That's
Scotia to
right.
take for. So right, we want it now. So I decided to find another class. And I went on meetup.com. So for anyone who doesn't know what meetup.com is, it's a wonderful place to find your special interests and group people to do things with. I found a Zentangle meetup, and there was one happening that following week. I went to it. There were 2 other CZTs, certified Zentangle teachers there. I started picking their brains. I said, "Is it worth it?" Da, da, da. They said, "Yes." I said, "I want to do this. I wish I could be certified. I don't want to wait 6 months to a year. I want it. I want it." I get in my car. I got a phone call from Zentangle.com. There's a cancellation on Monday. Do you want it?
Nice.
It starts
Wow.
Monday.
Divine intervention.
Divine, and I get choked up every time I say that. So when I went, it was in Providence, Rhode Island. And the reason I got in out of the big, huge wait list is because Zentangle is worldwide. People fly in from all over the world to get certified, and the founders are in Whitensville, Massachusetts.
Wow, that's so interesting. A little local trivia there.
Exactly. And so when I was there, I found out that people were saying that Zentangle had helped them with their depression. It took away their fibromyalgia. It helped them get through times in the hospital when their husbands were in surgery. It has been so therapeutic for so many people. For me, it calms me down. If I'm upset and I am just upset or I'm angry, I take out my pen and paper and I start to tangle. If I am stressed out, I take it out and it calms me down. If I just am bored, if I'm at lunch and my friend is late for lunch, which has happened, I take out my sketchbook because I have a kit with me all the time in my purse, and I sit there. And I remember I was on the airplane once, and I don't fly well. I get nauseous. I just like to land. But recently I was on a flight and I was tangling, and they announced that we were about to land, and I was disappointed because I wanted to keep tangling. I'm like, no, I don't want to land yet. So, do you have any other questions?
Let me think about that. You've answered a lot of my questions that I had originally. I guess a good question might be, where do people go locally to find this, and how do they find you, Jackie, to
That's
do
a
this?
wonderful question. Yeah. JackieRose.com, Jackie with an I, or rejuventangle.com. That's like rejuvenate, rejuventangle.com. I do have a meetup group, which is meetup.com/rejuventangle. And I do run classes in the area, as well as I do private parties, and I conduct retreats. I also get hired to go out to companies and businesses or clubs, organizations, or even other retreats and conferences to do this. If you are, if anyone's listening and runs conferences or retreats, this is a wonderful activity to do in the very beginning of a retreat to get everyone in the right frame of mind. It helps them to let go of everything, and it helps them to be open to all the possibilities that they're going to hear for that conference or retreat, or even a meeting. I've even got into companies where it's just wellness for your staff.
Having worked, years ago in that corporate world, I think this would be ideal, as you said at the beginning, of any meeting or any kind of conference, just to settle people on down and calm the mind. I mean, just this little bit of stuff, what we once referred to almost as doodling, it does have that meditative effect. I see my friend Sue over there. I can see her relaxing into it, and getting into it, and it's awesome. I like it.
Yes, but you did say the D word. And everybody says it at every single class. And when they first find out about Zentangle, they use the D word, which is doodling. And there's even a book called Zen Doodle, which I have.
Yes.
But in the Zentangle world, we do not use the doodle word.
And I have just learned my lesson.
But I'm glad you brought that up for that reason. And I think I'm the only one. I'm almost done here.
I think that this might be very, very good having a child with special needs. I think this would be a great thing for special needs children as well, to allow them to focus perhaps, and yeah.
Absolutely, and it also has been proven to work with kids with ADHD,
Yes.
Who can't even pay attention, and they are able to actually complete a tile. So you are absolutely right. Anybody can do it. Okay, so how are we doing? They look fabulous. You can see they all look very different. And now we're going to do another pattern. Okay. And so now these tiles are small because you can turn them. Okay. And even when you're doing your spirals, always remember you can turn them to get the comfortable position. So we're now going to do, this is really cool. So you pick a section. So I turn my tiles, so my spirals on my left, and I'm going to pick the section on my right. And what we're going to do is you're going to draw with your pen a kind of a cool wavy line with loops. Any way you want, doesn't matter, there's no right or wrong, just some kind of a line starting from one side of the edge to another, making loops. And and then there's a second part to this. So you're kind of doing a string within a section. But you see how we didn't have to think about how far we had to go with our little spirals, or some people like to call them cinnamon buns. But also, you don't have to stay within the lines. There's no right or wrong in Zentangle. If you want to go crazy and go out of the lines with your little string here, go for it. There's no right or wrong. And I know perfectionists are cringing. Oh, I can't go out for the lines. But I say, go for it. Go wild. Okay. So the next part is you're going to pick a section anywhere in that loop, one of the loops, and you're going to just draw an arc and then another one over it. And you're just going to fill up your loops. And actually, they don't always have to be your loops. They can also be, let's say, you can have a little corner here. You can take a corner and do the same thing. And usually in Zentangle, in my classes, you don't hear me talking the whole time. I usually stop talking and we have quiet so we can really get the meditative effect. So why don't we just do that for 10 seconds, because I know for TV you don't want to do it too long because we might lose some viewers. But if the viewers are actually tangling with us, they might really enjoy that. So why don't we just go for 10 seconds with quiet. Now, Sue and Lois, do you have any questions or comments so far? How are you feeling?
Very relaxed. I say the same thing too. It's kind of very interesting, especially since there's like no rules.
That's the best part.
I think it does free the mind up. Yeah, I think it does free the mind up.
agree.
When she said, I'm not thinking about any of it, really. I'm just involved in the actual thing. My
Yeah,
mind is sort of
doing
blanking
it.
out, which is what you want.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, I'm not sure if I just continue to fill in all of the...
Yes. So what you can
Yes.
do is you find the loops, find some corners to do it
Okay.
with.
Okay,
And
wherever you can.
Wherever you can. Yep. And go any direction you want.
Okay.
So let me tell you about a wonderful event I'm having Halloween weekend. It's going to be at the Cape at the Seacrest Resort Hotel. It's a retreat, and we are going to be tangling with ocean views, and it's so relaxing. And if anyone knows the Seacrest Resort, it's right on Old Silver Beach in Falmouth, Massachusetts, on the Cape, and when it's off season, which it is now, it is so quiet and peaceful there. And we did one in March, and it was just amazing. We were like the only ones in the hotel, and we had so excellent service, good food, but more importantly, the views were amazing. I'm going to switch pens here. Mine's not drying out. They're amazing and relaxing and fun. We got a wonderful group of people coming. And anyone can come, adults only though. Sorry, no kids allowed. And one of the reasons we do that, I mean, Zentangle is in school for kids, and there are Zentangle classes for kids. I focus on adults because it gives the adults a time away from the kids if they have kids, and also it's adult time. And there are a lot of people that, and it attracts mostly women, but we do get some men once in a while, and men are very welcome to come. But it's adult time, it's social, it's relaxing, and we just prefer to stick with adults for the classes that I do. However, with that said, if you had a private party, you want to do a kids party or a parent-child party, that is really good. Last night I took a class. There's another CZT in town, and I took a class with her, and there was a mother-daughter there, and it was wonderful to see them tangling together and the different, the similarities and the differences of their tiles. So I think that's a very nice event to do. I mostly focus on adults, though.
I do like the idea, though, of I was thinking of a children's birthday party. You know, we all go through all of the different birthday party scenarios. This is an interesting one. Could actually lend some calmness to the, usual chaos of the children's birthday parties. But I think they'd really enjoy it. It would be also a little take-home, how you have a little take-home thing goodie bag. You actually get to take home your art. I think this is a great way to start a birthday party, keep the kids calm and engaged, and love that idea.
Exactly, exactly. And it also makes great for a great bachelorette party, especially if it's a second wedding. The first one, maybe not. You probably want to go out and get drunk. But the second one...
Yeah, the second one's different. That's right.
However, we have done wine tangle parties and tangles with a twist. I also teach in Medway at the Medway Community Ed program, and we've done it at the Restaurant 45. We call it Tangle with a Twist. And we've
Nice. I
done
love
wine
that idea, too.
Yep.
It can be anything anyone is looking for, actually, Jackie.
Yes, it can.
You know?
Absolutely.
Fills a lot of different areas.
Exactly. Exactly.
Just like we're filling the area in this paper pretty quickly, too.
We are. And now the one thing to remember is, if you are finished before we move on,
Yes.
I want you to take that opportunity to just relax, meditate. I mean, how many times have we just sat and done nothing and just relaxed? And what's wonderful about this is it's a form of meditation. So if you are like me and don't want to sit 20 minutes on a meditation cushion at home, just take out a tile and start to tangle, or go to a class and just relax. And if you're done before we move on, just sit and meditate, which means just sit in silence and be in the present moment.
I think you really hit on something there, Jackie, because I think there's, and I know I have certain students who find Shavasana very, very difficult, to lie in a position, you know, on the floor and not do anything for a little while. So I think that something like this would much easier engage them than trying to just lay still. You still get the
Yes.
same effect, in a sense, with the mind.
Right, and what's wonderful about your Shavasana, because you're my favorite yoga teacher, that's why I go to all your classes.
Yay.
Yeah, I know. And I love the Shavasana because it's not very long. It's only like 5 or 10 minutes at the end. And there's some in the beginning too, which might be not Shavasana, but it's relaxation. Yes. I love that because it's not the whole class. And some people like to do it the whole class, and but that's what I like about it. You get me to relax. But sometimes I'm sorry it's over, just like on the airplane when it landed. I'm like, oh, it's over? We have to get up now and go do something? Okay, are we ready for the last pattern?
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
So this is real easy. All you're going to do with our last section, you can turn your towel if you want to, is pick an edge. And I'm going to pick this top edge here. And from I'm going to start in the middle. And all we're going to do is draw a nice little squiggly line. And at the end of that line, some dots. Now, we're going to do the same exact thing next to it. I'll let you do that first. All right. And I love that. See how she turned the corner? See, you can be as creative as you want.
They're all so
sorry about
different.
that.
They're all so different, that's it.
Exactly. So now, next to it, quite close, or it doesn't really, you're going to do another one, but it has to be a different size. So it can be longer or shorter than the first one. And then some dots, and the dots you don't want the dots to line up either. And then you'll do the other side. And I'm going to do mine a little shorter. And that's what you're going to do. You're going to fill this whole section just...
Can they cross each other? Or?
Absolutely, they can cross each other. And I love when I always say there's no right or wrong, and then I get questions. You know, can they do this? And it happens every class, and I love it.
It's like that skit I've seen for the dollar store. How much is this? How much is that?
That's really funny. Yes, and I'm so glad you asked that question, because if you want to cross them, I think that's a wonderful idea to do. And turn them.
You do get the feeling and sensation with the pen too that you need to go lightly on it, because I have, as you pointed out, a tendency to press down, and I feel it in the pen. It's like, no, back off. So I'm getting that effect too.
Excellent. And the one thing, if we had more time, what I would do is we usually shade the tiles. Maybe we'll do, when we finish this, I'll do one shading so you get the idea, and then we can, because I want to make sure we have lots of time for yoga and Shavasana.
Of course.
And so I'll show you when we finish the section, I'll show you 2 other things you can do. Okay. Now the thing about Zentangle, there are hundreds and hundreds of patterns, and there are more being created as we speak at this moment. And a wonderful website to go to for free, and we'll show you step by step how to do the patterns, is tanglepatterns.com. I have no affiliation with it, but a lot of the CZTs and people who tangle are in that community. There's a whole Tangle community. If you're on Facebook and you Google Zentangle, you'll find, Google too, you'll find lots and lots of other, you can learn Zentangle on your own, you can get books, there's videos, there's the YouTubes, but tanglepatterns.com is a great website to go to see other patterns, and for free you can see step by step. We'll show you what to do. And I love that, look at her. Dot, dot, dot. I love what she's doing with her hands.
Wild on the dots.
Yeah, wild on the dots.
So one more thing we're going to do with the pen, and then we'll pick up the pencil, and then we'll start to conclude. See how there's little spaces in our little spirals? Mm-hmm. Well, what we can do is just, not the whole thing, but periodic, for some of the spaces, color it in lightly with your pen. Color the white space in. Just sporadically, randomly, in different parts of the sections of the section.
Well, I know I can't do anything wrong because I already went in and put little spirals in the white spaces.
Oh, I love that.
I'm finding a few.
Yes. And you see what it does, it gives it a more dramatic effect. And it's fun. So the one thing that, I'll wait, but the one thing that I just want to remind you all that what we are focusing on is letting go, breathing, having faith, being present, letting go of the outcomes. And what I like to do is I like to encourage people to take these same words and attitudes and use them throughout the rest of your day today and all day tomorrow and the rest of the week, of letting go of outcomes in your life, having faith, breathing, slowing down, focusing more, and having fun.
These are all goals that we try to reach in yoga as well, everything that Jackie just said, basically. So it's such a perfect fit.
That is beautiful. Now there's two more things we're going to do, even though that sounded like a really good conclusion, but we want to do one more thing, and that is we're going to do a little shading, and then we're going to put all the tiles together, and we're going to, I always like to take a picture of it, and hopefully our viewers can see it as well. So just to give you an idea of what shading does, you can, when you're ready, put down your pen, and always make sure your pen is capped when it's down. And you're going to pick up your pencil, and we're going to shade the spiral one that we did. Not the spiral ones, I'm sorry, the one that we did the loop and then all the arcs.
Okay.
So with your pencil, I want you to, whenever you see a little corner, just throughout, just put a little pencil in. Any corners, it can be in the loops, out of the loops, just wherever there's like a little corner or intersection. And just a little bit lightly. It doesn't have to be in all of them, just a few of them. And when you're done, put your pencil down. That looks awesome. Beautiful. Lovely. Okay, so that's good enough. So now you put down your pencils, pick up your tortillon. Tortillon. It's French for stump smudger or something like that, or blender. Yeah.
Okay.
So this
Like
blends the pencil. I love it. So with wherever you did your pencil, with your tortillon, you're just going to blend it in. And you can do circular motions or back and forth, and you can actually bring it up a little bit as wherever you'd like to in that section. Kind of spread it around a little bit. And this makes us feel like true artists that we are. But more importantly, what it does, it just gives it more of a pop. Especially when we do so many different designs, they can get lost with each other. So the shading kind of separates them more, it adds dimension, and it's fun. That's why we do it.
Well, it's wonderful too because you really it doesn't require a lot of artistic talent. I'm here, I'm not stressing out because my picture isn't as good as someone else's or I haven't done the proper thing. I really feel really good about this picture. It makes me feel good inside.
And it looks wonderful, and you're absolutely right. There is no artistic experience or ability necessary to do Zentangle. And it's wonderful that for the art community. Matter of fact, I was in Nantucket, and I'm looking to teach Zentangle in Nantucket because I love Nantucket and I want to spend more time there.
Of course.
And so I met with the Art Association, and they said they want to bring Zentangle in more because for those people who are not artists to become more of the art community. And I thought that was wonderful.
That is so ideal.
Yeah.
And I think you probably see different, I just know sitting at this table because my two old friends here, Sue and Lois. They're very different in personalities. Lois is extremely laid back. She never really gets riled about anything. Susie can get a little more agitated and have a little more anxiety. She's more on my side of the table. But as I watch us all here, we're all kind of on the same level. I mean, Susie's so calm over there, and we all look like the same here, so it's very cool like that.
Yes.
Levels the field.
Let's put our time. So let me actually, we should have told you to initial them, but we'll do that afterwards.
Okay.
Let's find us.
Dark enough.
No, you see? Now, she just said, I didn't make it dark enough. There's no such thing. And by the way, there are no erasers in Zentangle. Just like in life.
That's right.
And usually, whatever we didn't intend to do leads us to something better, just like in life. And so I'm going to just take my little picture here, because I do that in every class and every TV interview, even though this is my first. So we're going to take back ours. Whose is whose now? That's yours?
Mine.
That's yours?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this is yours. So last thing we're going to do is you're going to take your pen and you're going to assign your artwork with your initials or your name or your first letter. However you want to sign your artwork, you can do it. Doesn't matter. I have a friend, her name is Talib, and she signs it with a big T, and I love that. So I just signed my initials. So what I like to do, let's go around the room, and in one word, how do you feel?
Relaxed. Relaxed, and it was a lot of fun.
I feel creative.
Yeah.
I feel awesome.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
Thank you, Marcia.
Thank you, Jackie, for showing us Zentangle. Now we will move to the mats. So we begin here in Shavasana, just resting in this position. Palms are up, body is relaxed. We draw our attention to the breath. Just allowing our concerns to drift away. And we begin now to just deepen the breath, taking a fuller inhalation and a longer, more complete exhalation. Again, inhaling and exhaling. We know that the mind is very busy all day long. 70,000 thoughts a day. So we just try in yoga to clear the mind, to allow the thoughts to descend. We do that by returning to the breath. Then we'll just take our arms above our heads and lengthening through the heels as we stretch. Doing just a gentle stretch today on the show. We've enjoyed our little Zentangle adventure, and we're just going to do a little stretching. So inhaling the arms down by the sides. Bring your feet to the floor one at a time. And then draw the knees into the chest one at a time and gently rock them in and out. Just feeling the lower back as we do that, warming it up. And then just going back and forth a little. And then coming back to the center. And we're just going to bring our hands behind the thighs, middle of the thigh, and draw the thighs into the chest. And then point and flex the feet. And then drawing the soles of the feet together, pointing the toes up at the ceiling. And then releasing the feet down. Once again, we're going to stretch the spine by extending the heels away and pushing through the fingertips. And right here now, keep breathing. We're going to add a pelvic tilt. So just bringing that back, lower back into the floor, and then releasing that and allowing the arms to come down by the sides. Bring the feet to the floor one at a time and cross your left leg over your right. And just allow that left leg to open by taking the hand and opening it a little bit. Then bring your left hand to the left knee, right to the right, and draw that assembly to the chest. And as you do this, attempt to keep the chin level. Sometimes a little pillow helps with that. And just stretching through that right thigh. And then we drop that right foot to the ground. Take your right hand to your left knee. And then keeping the right leg in that same position, draw that left knee over. So just stretching through that left hip. Release that, and with your right fingers, just push that left thigh away a little. So opening that up a little bit. And then take the hand and draw that across, leg across again. And then let it release and push with your fingertips as you open that thigh up. Again, draw it across. Again, release it down and push away with the fingertips. And then letting that go. Now draw your right leg up so that your right leg comes into your right elbow. Your right knee comes into your right elbow. And then your left hand holds your right foot. And you draw it in like a baby. So holding it just like you were cradling a baby. And then releasing that down and letting it cross all the way over. Take your left hand palm down. Take your right hand to your knees and draw them to the right. And then coming back up to center. What is the noise? We got to take care of that phone noise. Can we get it out? Does anyone know whose phone it is?
I have no idea.
Because this is going to show up in the thing, I think. Sorry. I don't know what to do. I thought someone would just take care of it, so I ignored it for a while, but it's going to show up in the thing. I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
Actually, we couldn't hear it at all.
Oh. All right, it's okay. I broke in the middle. It's all right. Come on back. I'm sorry. I broke right where I could break. I'm sorry. I kept hoping someone would do something. I didn't know whether to ignore it.
We couldn't hear anything. That's why we weren't moving.
Okay, no problem. Back. So back down there. We're just going to do the other side. Okay, that's why we have editing. Okay, extend the arms, extend the legs, and lengthen. And then exhaling the arms down by the side. Bring the feet to the floor one at a time and cross the right leg over the left. Make sure your hip and knee are in a nice straight line. Take your right hand and just open that up a little bit, pushing against the thigh. Bring your hands to your knees and draw that up to the chest. Just letting that right hip stretch a little. And then bring that left foot down to the floor. Take your left hand to your right knee and draw that knee across. And just make sure your left knee stays in the same position so we're getting that nice stretch. Then push that, let that go back and push it away with your fingertips. Opening the hips. Again, bring that knee across. And again, letting that go and just using the fingertips to open. Once more, we draw that across. Once more, we push that away. And then bring that right leg, the right knee into the crook of your right elbow and taking the left hand to the right foot and just drawing that in, just giving that right hip a little bit of stretch. And then releasing that foot to the ground and just extending the arms and extending the legs. And while you're in this position, just with the arms long behind you, just walk your legs over to the left a little bit So keeping the feet fairly close together, walk them over to the left, and then take a hold of your left wrist with your right hand and let the top of your body move to the left a little so that we have a nice crescent shape. Breathing into the chest. And then coming back to center. We walk the legs over to the right a little bit. We take the right wrist with the left hand and just move the body, top of the body towards the right. Just bringing some more flexibility to the spine, moving the spine in many different ways in yoga. And then coming back to center as we extend the arms and extend the legs. Exhale the arms down, bring the feet to the floor one at a time and the knees into the chest one at a time. And gently rock them. Cross the ankles and widen the knees just a little. Bring the hands to the top, fingertips pointing down as we begin to just rotate around the bottom. Letting the arms go forward as you move around and then pulling the knees back in as you come back. And then coming to center, change the cross of the feet and let's go in the other direction. Just making that circle. We always try to keep the movement a little slow so that the mind doesn't wander away. And then coming to center, we bring the feet to the floor and extending the arms, extending the legs. And exhaling down. And we're just going to roll over and just come up to a seated position. In here, we'll just bring the arms overhead, interlace the fingers, extend the palms up towards the ceiling. Take a breath. Exhale the arms down. We'll bring the hands up on the thighs as we close our eyes. For a moment, I'm going to talk to you about chanting. What is chanting and why is it beneficial? What does it do for us? Well, it does many things. It balances the left and right sides of the brain, oxygenates the brain, lowers blood pressure, reduces heart rate. It's believed that the meridians, or the energy channels within the mouth, are stimulated by the tongue. We talk in yoga about the physical body as being one layer, and then there are other layers or koshas, of which the chakras are part. We've talked about the chakras, and these meridians fall in that category as well. There is a doctor who claims that he has been able, through the use of mantra meditation, for his patients to shrink tumors. It brings better sleep. MRIs show that the gray matter in the brain can be improved through mantra meditation. This is the area associated with memory, empathy, sense of self. It also releases melatonin, calming. Produces endorphins, happy, happy, happy. But most importantly, brings us closer to the divine. So we inhale and begin Om 3 times. Inhaling to begin. So from here, we'll just lay back down on the mat for just a few minutes of meditation. So just bringing a pillow beneath your head and just relaxing into that place. Bringing your attention now to your breath. noticing the rise and the fall of the breath at heart center. We relax the feet, relaxing the legs. We bring our attention to our breath, letting those concerns drift away for now, allowing ourselves this time, this sanctuary, this place. Notice the back body and let that relax into the mat. Notice the arms as they rest on the floor. Relax all of your fingers. Notice your head on the floor. Allow the back of the neck to relax, the back of the head. Feeling supported by the earth. Let all the muscles of the face relax. Let the tongue relax, the throat. Just resting the mind. And while you rest there, I'll just read a little something to you. Everything that surrounds us has an aspect of the divine, just as we do ourselves. The chanting of the sound Om reminds us of those connections to the divine and to each other. One of the effects of chanting is the dissolution of boundaries. When this happens, something new can take place in the psyche and body of a person. Chanting seems directly to stimulate the emission of certain chemicals in the brain, such as endorphins, which give rise to states of enhanced awareness, calmful bliss, and other deep meditative states. The voice is the key to spiritual transformation because the sound of the voice is directly linked through the breath to the activities of the mind. Through working with the voice, we learn to enter the state of awareness that combines emptiness with clarity. This leads ultimately to illumination. So just keeping your state of calmness, bring yourself up to a simple seated position. We sit tall and bring the hands to heart center. We press the thumb and the pinky finger together and we raise the hands up and bring the lotus blossom above the crown of the head and we allow it to fill with blessings. And then we bring that up, gather it in, draw it into the heart center. And bowing the busy, thinking, intellectual mind to the wisdom of the heart. May the long-time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way home. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lois, Susie, and Jackie.